Yeah, I was going to say, so can you override the sort of the macronutrient calculation and add in your own macros and recipes? And you as the coach have access to the app itself in terms of the kind of back end to it, or is that all done via? It's a 12-week challenge, so 3 months. Is there a limit for the amount of clients that can be held on that particular? There's no. Okay, cool. December 2nd, good chat this morning to discuss potential of like an app for online clients and coaching drops and transformation challenges, etc. I wanted to kind of branch out into having flow and the Ibiza Classic and everything that I do in terms of coaching in one lovely little space. So I'm going to go for a meeting next week to look at the kind of the back end and how everything works, which should be good. The logbook came. I mentioned it in the previous vlog. The Strength Factory one. It's great because I'm very lazy, you see, and I don't like filling out things, like writing exercises out frequently, like all the time. So this way you can have exercise then week 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is cool. And then you can visually see like, oh, last week I did this, as opposed to like having to flick back. So Strength Factory, very good. In homage to this gaining phase, I thought it would be fitting to bring back the GOAT, MVP.
It's 5:37 on Friday the 3rd of December. I can see why the daily upload, daily vlogging is a little addictive. See why Casey Neistat got addicted to it. I've got my routine sorted. I wake up at 5, black coffee, then I edit the previous day's footage and upload on the same day. Might be tricky though, I've got a few nights out coming up, so chances of me getting up at 5 doing that are slim. But today we'll discuss my split. So I've put myself on an upper lower push-pull legs using Wednesday and Sunday as a rest day. And I'm going to do something slightly different compared to previous off seasons. Well, it's not an off season anymore because I've stopped competing. So it's just like a good old standard bulking phase. If you were to collate the amount of sets in previous gaining phases, those that have followed the off season with Josh and Joe, I was probably on about 10 to 12 sets per body part. And I didn't really taper up either. It was just a set, kind of 10 to 12, following that archetypal top set, back off set vibe. I've put myself on 15 sets per body part to start with. And if recovery capabilities allow me to do so, then I'm going to increase my volume throughout the next 8 weeks, which is something I haven't really done before. Obviously, testosterone and anabolic stack design is very different compared to previous gaining phases. I'm just on a 100 mega test at the moment. Whereas before we kind of obviously escalated that. We had the addition of orals and Primo and Masteron, for example, and some low dose Tren. But to be honest with you, the 100 milligrams gives me around about 15 nanomolar of testosterone. And with my health where it's at the moment, I'm very, very happy. Blood work came back very strong. I feel overall very good. So yes, we could bump that dose slightly to still keep us in that physiological range. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I'm just happy sticking with where I am, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But a very good push session. It feels fantastic. Logbooking again. You know, the fire has kind of been reignited, and you feel like a little bit, you know, thicker and denser and firmer when you wake up. So good session. Blue water time.
Another Vlogmas episode. Another appearance of Joe. I influenced him to buy a tree yesterday, but he has no decoration, so I'm going to get decorations, and I require I'm thinking to go with like a parka for my outfit for tomorrow. We got Novikov and then we got Pete Tong, but it does get hot in the O2, so just a nice thin overall to chuck on.
We're back with more styling tips for big guys. Today we're in Arquette. Apologies for mispronunciation. It's my first time in here. But it's in at the moment. I do like it. I said I want a parka. I'm gonna grab this parka. I like this. It's quite a mod style parka. I think it's gonna fit the feeler vibe well. This is the real reason for our trip. You've got to decorate the tree, Joe. You've got to dress it, son. What vibe are we going for? I'm going red and green this festive season.
All right, folks, let's finish this episode number 3 of Vlogmas with yet another question. Another one. Oh my God, Tom, you're so like giving over Christmas. Hi, Tom. Now you're bulking. Just wondering how you worked out your calories, and what sort of surplus are you going into? A great question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come on to the reasons to why I'm not following what the Body Scan UK calorie calculator has churned out based on the intuitive eating and the kind of under eating that went on. If you haven't already seen my Body Scan and intuitive eating video, it will be above. So what we can do is we can use the scan results and interpret. So I think they use the Kath-McArdle. So you've got the Kath-McArdle, you've got the Mifflin St. Jeor, and you've got, I've gone blank, Harris Benedict. So what we can do is height 178, bone mass was 3.1, total fat mass was 14.1, and total lean mass was 72.2. Just came back from a long hiatus. So there we go. Your resting metabolic rate is 1930 calories. So resting metabolic rate is essentially the amount of calories that my body would need if I just did sod all for 24 hours. It would be the amount of calories that my body would require in order to function efficiently and effectively if I just laid in bed for 24 hours. Then what we can do is we can choose our activity level. So we've got sedentary, little or no exercise, light activity, moderate, very active, and extra active. So let's choose for myself, moderate exercise, sport, 4 to 5 days a week, because I'm training 5 days a week at the moment. And then it says my maintenance calories are approximately 2,992. So taking on board that information, if we were going to like an off-season or a gaining phase, for example, obviously coach-client relation would be, we'd have that conversation and we'd determine what sort of target we'd want to get to. But let's say we went fairly conservative and push for like a 300 calorie surplus. So we'd add 300 to the maintenance calories, which would take us to around about 3,200, 3,300. Now, that's a big jump for me. If we were to use the calculator, add in a kind of relatively conservative surplus of 300 calories, that's a big jump. And the reason why is that with me and intuitive eating, I think it's something that a lot of people share, is I undereat massively. Like I massively undereat. And if I were to guesstimate the foods that I've been consuming over the last couple of weeks, prior to me tracking again, probably been around about 1,800 to maybe 2,400 calories. I eat a bit more calories on the weekend, for example. So just for me, for this week, I'm using it as a week to gauge and determine how the intake of food that I've put myself on Monday, which was 2,600 calories, is affecting my scale weight. And already I've jumped from 89.7 up to 90.7. I'm using the Fit Track. So I've already gained a kilo based on the fact that I've put myself from this intuitive eating, guessed them at around about 18 to 2,200. I've put myself on 2,600 calories because that was like my own calculated previous maintenance intake, which is a few hundred under the calculator that the Body Scan use, and we're just gonna go from there. Okay, so I reckon I'll probably hold around that 90.7, and then on Monday we'll sit down and then we'll have another readjustment of calories. So, you know, these things are fantastic. Maintenance calorie calculators are fantastic, but you also got to understand that in order to get a far better understanding of an individual's or a client's maintenance caloric intake, the best thing to do is to box off a 7 or 10 or maybe 2 week window whereby we set that individual on certain calories, we take note of their variables, try and make sure that their step count, for example, is the same, that their volume isn't changing in the sessions from week to week, and that gives us the best possible maintenance calorie intake for them. So if a client came to me and said, Tom, I want to start an off season, for example, and I said, right, let's go on this intake of food, and I put him on 3,000 calories, and he weighed in at 98 kilos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the scale was barely increased, then I found out his maintenance. His steps are staying the same, he's training with that intensity, we've put him on that amount of food, that's his maintenance, and then that's a sign for me to go, right, now it's time to increase the food. So I'd always use this kind of first week as a chance to gauge and calculate and just kind of get an understanding of either yourself or your client. Like I said, these calculators are great, but just going off this, that 2,900 is my maintenance, add like a 300 calorie surplus and I'll be on 3.2. I don't want to put myself on 3.2 at that stage. I'd rather start on the low end, see how my scale weight goes, and then we can go from there. I hope that this segment's not confused you a little bit too much. The question, what was the question? Now you're bulking, just wondering how you worked out your calories. So yeah, I pretty much worked out my calories by understanding that my previous maintenance was around about 2,600. And I'm just going to use that. Now I'm backtracking and I like it. I already feel nice. I feel fuller. Training's great. Had a good session today. It's nice. But like I said, we'll have a little rejig with calories on Monday based on how scale weight goes over the next few days. Hope you enjoyed the third instalment of Vlogmas. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, good night. Much love.